Have you ever placed what felt like the perfect trade? You spotted the breakout, set your stop loss with precision, and waited, only to watch the market spike against you, stop you out, and then take off in the exact direction you predicted? If that's ever happened to you, you know the frustration. You start questioning yourself. Was my analysis wrong? Did I misread the chart? Or is trading just rigged against me? Here's the truth. It's not bad luck, and it's not your strategy. What you're experiencing is the oldest game in the market, predators versus prey. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you're playing as the prey. But that changes today. This isn't just another trading strategy video. This is a psychological masterclass. I'm going to show you how to flip the script, how to stop reacting to price, and start anticipating the emotions driving it. By the end, you won't just see candles and lines on a chart. You'll see the battlefield, the scars, the traps, the manipulation. And when you learn to see that battlefield, you stop being the hunted, and you finally become the hunter.
Section 1. The Psychology of Price Memory. When you look at a chart, what do you see? Most traders see lines, support, resistance, trend lines, zones. But here's the hard truth. Support and resistance are not just lines. They are memories. They are scars. And scars are emotional. Every time price hits a level, something happens in the minds of thousands, sometimes millions of traders. Some get trapped, some take profit, some feel the sting of regret, others feel the rush of hope. These emotions don't disappear when the candle closes. They get burned into the chart. Think of that last time you were stopped out right before price reversed. Did you feel anger? Did you feel like the market knew exactly where your stop was? That feeling doesn't just live inside you. It lives on the chart because hundreds of other traders felt it at the exact same spot. That's why price remembers. When price returns to a level, it's not revisiting a line. It's stepping back onto a battlefield littered with emotional baggage. Fear, greed, regret, hope. That's what creates the reaction you see. Not the line itself, but the collective memory attached to it. And here's the key. If you only draw lines, you'll always be late. But if you learn to read the scars, the emotional fingerprints left behind, you'll start to anticipate who is likely to take action when price gets there. Because trading isn't about predicting numbers, it's about predicting people. And people, when they're emotional, are predictable. This is why so many perfect setups fail. It's not that the breakout strategy or the retest strategy is wrong, it's that you're applying it without understanding the battlefield it's happening on. The market is not a classroom where strategies play out in neat examples. It's a war zone, and support and resistance are the battlegrounds. The question is, do you know which Arlie is waiting at the gate? Think about the last time price reversed right after hitting your stop. Do you believe that was coincidence or manipulation? Let me know in the comments below.
Section 2. The three armies at the gate. Now that you see support and resistance as emotional scars, here's the next step. Understanding who is fighting at those levels. Every time price approaches a key level, three armies gather at the gate. Three very different groups of traders, each driven by a different emotion. If you can identify which army is in control, you can predict what happens next. The first army, the trapped traders. These are the traders who bought the breakout too early or sold the breakdown too late. They're caught on the wrong side of the move. And when price comes back to their level, their only thought is escape. They're desperate to close the trade, even if it means taking a loss. Fear drives them. The second army, the profit takers. These are the traders who got in early and are now sitting on green positions. As price returns to their level, they think, this is good enough. I'll lock in profits before it reverses. Greed, mixed with caution, controls them. And the third army, the FOMO crowd. These are the traders sitting on the sidelines watching the move they should have caught. When price comes back to the level, they jump in too late, chasing what's already gone. Hope and desperation drive them. So at every price level, you have fear, greed, and hope colliding all at once. That's why markets react the way they do. It's not the line, it's the armies battling behind it. Here's the real question. Which army are you usually in? Are you the trapped one, always stopped out? The profit taker, cutting too early? Or the FOMO chaser, always late to the party? Be honest with yourself, and better yet, drop it in the comments right now. Because once you can see which army you've been fighting in, you can finally learn how to stop fighting at all and start hunting instead.
Section 3. The Sniper's Strategy. Up until now, we've exposed the battlefield and the armies that gather at every price level. But here's the truth. Knowing there's a war isn't enough. You can't just run into the fight with guns blazing. That's what prey does. Prey reacts. Predators, they stalk. They wait. They strike only when the odds are overwhelming. That's why the predator trader thinks like a sniper. Imagine a sniper on a rooftop. He doesn't fire at every shadow that moves. He studies the target. He reads the environment. He waits for confirmation that the shot is clean. Because in his world, one wrong move means mission failed. Trading works the same way. Most traders lose because they act like machine gunners, spraying bullets everywhere. Every candle feels like an opportunity. Every spike feels like a signal. And before they know it, their account is empty. But a sniper doesn't waste ammo. And as a trader, neither should you. Here's how the sniper's strategy works. Step 1. Identify the battlefield. You already know support and resistance are emotional scars. Mark them, but don't trade them yet. This is just identifying where the fight might happen. Step 2. Wait for confirmation. This is where most traders fail. The prey sees price touch support, and they jump in immediately. But the predator waits. The sniper watches how the armies react at the gate. Do the trapped traders panic and close positions? Do the profit takers lock in? Does the FOMO crowd rush in blindly? The reaction tells you the truth. Then, and only then, do you take your shot. That means entering with a clear reason, not hope. It means having your stop in the only place it makes sense, the level that proves your idea wrong. Anything else? That's gambling. Here's an example. Imagine price is testing resistance. The prey jumps in short at the very first touch, but the predator waits. They watch volume. They watch for rejection wicks. They wait to see if trapped buyers start closing positions. And then, and only then, they strike. Notice something? The sniper doesn't need to be first. He doesn't need to catch every move. Because the predator knows that survival isn't about being early. It's about being right. And here's the hardest truth for most traders to swallow. Doing nothing is often the most powerful move you can make. A sniper may wait hours for a single shot. Likewise, a predator trader may sit out dozens of candles just to strike at one perfect setup. That patience is what separates winners from losers. So ask yourself, are you spraying bullets, chasing every tick? Or are you willing to wait, to stalk, to hunt like a predator? Because in trading, the sniper doesn't just survive longer. The sniper owns the battlefield. Be honest, are you more like the machine gunner firing at everything, or the sniper waiting for the perfect shot? Drop your answer in the comments.
Section 4. The Art of the Retest. One of the most powerful tools in the predator's arsenal is the retest. And yet, it's also one of the most misunderstood. Most traders think of the retest as just a technical setup, but the truth is, it's a test of conviction. It separates the prey from the predator. Here's the problem. Prey traders love to jump on the very first breakout. Price punches through a level, and boom, they're in. They don't wait, they don't confirm, they assume. And more often than not, they end up trapped. Why?
because the first breakout is often nothing more than bait. It's designed to lure in the impatient, to stack orders, to build liquidity for the real move. The predator sees it differently. A breakout is just noise until the retest proves it's real. Think of the retest as a handshake. The first time you meet someone, they can fake a smile, fake confidence, fake interest. But the second handshake, the retest, that's where the truth comes out. If price breaks a level and then comes back to test it, that's the market asking, do you really belong here? And the answer to that question tells you everything. Here's what a predator looks for on the retest. First, rejection. Do we see quick wicks showing trapped traders trying to escape? Do we see a sudden stall that suggests hesitation? That's a sign the armies are battling it out there. Second, volume. If the breakout was real, the retest should attract conviction. Think of it like reinforcements arriving to secure territory. If volume disappears, it means the move was a fake-out. Third, follow-through. A predator doesn't jump in the moment price touches the level again. They wait for confirmation that the level has flipped from enemy ground to friendly territory. Support becomes support again. Resistance holds as resistance again. That's the moment of truth. Now here's the emotional angle. The retest works because of psychology. The trapped traders from earlier see price come back to their entry level, relief kicks in, they close out, often at break-even. The profit takers might re-enter, fueling continuation. And the FOMO crowd, seeing price prove itself, finally jumps in. That blend of fear, greed, and hope creates the fuel for the next big move. And this is why predators love retests. They're not just setups, they're confirmations of control. They reveal which army won the battle at the gate. So the next time you see a breakout, don't chase. Remember, the first move is often just the bait. The real money, the predator's money, comes from the retest. Because in the art of the retest, patience isn't just a virtue, it's the edge. How many times have you been trapped chasing the first breakout only to watch the retest become the real move? Share your story in the comments. I know we've all been there.
Section 5. The Manipulation Playbook. By now, you know that markets are emotional battlefields. You know about the three armies. You've learned the sniper's patience and the power of the retest. But here's the ugly truth most traders never want to admit. Markets are not fair. They are manipulated. And if you don't understand the manipulation playbook, you'll always be the prey. So let's open the book. The first play is the stop hunt. You know that feeling when price just barely tags your stop loss, only to reverse in your original direction? That's not bad luck, it's design. Big players need liquidity to fill their orders. Where's the liquidity? Sitting in clusters of stop losses, right below support and right above resistance. By triggering those stops, they create the fuel they need to enter massive positions at a discount. The second play is the false breakout. Imagine price creeping above resistance. The FOMO army rushes in, convinced it's the start of a breakout run, but almost immediately price slams back down. Those traders are trapped. Their panic creates the exact momentum smart money uses to push the market the opposite way. It's like dangling bait in front of starving fish. The third play is the engineered trendline break. Retail traders love trend lines because they feel clean, logical, and easy to draw. But smart money knows this. They'll push price just far enough to pierce the line, knowing it will trigger emotional selling or buying. Then, once the prey are committed, the market reverses back in the original direction, leaving retail stuck once again. Why do these plays work so well? Because they target emotions. fear, greed, and impatience. The market doesn't move on your chart patterns, it moves on your reactions to them. And the manipulators, market makers, big banks, algorithmic systems, know exactly how to trigger those reactions. Here's the key shift. Once you see the manipulation playbook, it stops being scary. It becomes predictable. If you know stop hunts happen just before big moves, you can anticipate them instead of falling victim. If you know false breakouts are engineered, you'll wait for the retest instead of chasing the first candle. Think about it like this. A magician's trick only fools you the first time. Once you know how the trick works, you see it coming. And once you see it, it loses its power over you. That's the predator's advantage. While the prey cries, "The market is rigged," the predator smiles. Because what looks like chaos to others is just part of the script to them. And when you understand the script, you can finally trade with confidence. So here's your choice. Do you want to keep being the audience member gasping at the magic trick? Or do you want to be the magician who knows exactly how it's done? Be honest, how many times have you been hunted by a stop loss or tricked by a false breakout?
Section 6. The Volume Revelation. After seeing the manipulation playbook, you might be wondering, if price can be faked, if stop hunts are engineered, if breakouts can be traps, then what can I trust? The answer is simple. Trust the footprints. And in trading, those footprints are called volume. Price is the story everyone sees, but volume is the whisper of truth underneath it. Because while price can be pushed around, volume exposes commitment. It shows you whether the move you're watching is fueled by real conviction or just smoke and mirrors. Think of price like a poker player's face. They can bluff, they can fake a smile, they can act strong when they're weak. But volume? That's their heartbeat. They can't hide it. If the heartbeat is racing, you know something real is happening. If it's calm, you know the act is just for show. Here's how predators use volume. When price breaks a level with strong volume, it tells you the breakout has real fuel. The armies aren't just playing games, someone big is stepping in. But when price breaks out on weak volume, that's your warning. That's not conviction. That's manipulation. That's the magician's trick in action. On the retest, volume becomes even more powerful. Imagine price breaks resistance, comes back to retest, and suddenly, volume surges. That's like reinforcements arriving on the battlefield. It's the signal that the breakout wasn't just bait, it's a territory grab. But if volume dries up on the retest, that's your cue to stay patient. The prey will jump in. The predator will wait. And here's the most important thing. Volume tells you where the big players are hiding. Retail traders move price in ripples. Institutions move price in waves. When you see those sudden spikes in volume, it's like spotting a giant's footprint in the sand. You know they're nearby, and you know which direction they're heading. This is why volume is the predator's lie detector. Price lies, volume doesn't. Now I know what you might be thinking, but volume looks messy. Sometimes it spikes for no reason. That's true on the surface, but here's the secret. Don't just look at the volume bars in isolation. Look at them in context. Is volume confirming the story the price is telling, or is it contradicting it? If price is breaking down but volume is shrinking, that's weakness, not strength. If price is chopping sideways but volume is quietly building, that's the storm before the breakout. The prey see candles. The predator sees conviction. So the next time you're staring at a chart, don't just ask, what is price doing? Ask, what is volume confirming? Because volume is the only voice in the market that doesn't lie. And when you learn to read that voice, you stop being fooled by the tricks. You stop chasing smoke, and you start following the footprints of the giants who actually move the market.
Do you use volume in your trading, or have you mostly ignored it? Volume is truth if you're ready to start seeing what really drives the market.
Section 7. The Confluence Factor. By now, you've seen the scars of price memory. You've met the three armies. You've learned to wait like a sniper, respect the retest, and expose the manipulation playbook. You've even uncovered the only truth teller in the market, volume. But here's the next step. Predators don't rely on one clue. They build their case on confluence. So what is confluence? It's alignment. It's when multiple signals, psychological, technical, and emotional, stack together to point in the same direction. And when they align, your odds shift dramatically. Think of a lion stalking prey. It doesn't pounce just because it sees movement. It waits until the wind is in its favor, until the herd is distracted, until the distance is right. The lion waits for confluence. Only then does it strike with certainty. Trading works the same way. One signal is noise. Two signals are interesting. But three or more, that's conviction. Here's how you build confluence as a predator trader. First, the battlefield. You've already mapped your key support and resistance zones, the scars of past battles. That's where the armies will gather again. Second, the reaction. Are the trapped traders panicking? Are profit takers securing gains? Is the FOMO crowd chasing? You're watching the psychology unfold in real time. Third, the manipulation check. Did the market just run a stop hunt? Did it fake a breakout? If you see those games play out, you know liquidity has been collected. That's often the setup before the real move. Fourth, the confirmation. Here's where the sniper's discipline comes in. You wait for the retest. If the level flips and holds, that's proof. Fifth, the truth detector. Volume. If the move has real conviction, the footprints of the giants will show. Without that, you stay patient. When all of these stack together, that's confluence. That's when you know the odds are finally in your favor. Here's the beauty of trading with confluence. You stop guessing. You stop reacting to every candle. You stop gambling. Instead, you start building a case. Just like a lawyer doesn't go to trial with one flimsy piece of evidence, a predator trader doesn't risk capital on a single signal. They wait until the evidence stacks up so strongly that hesitation disappears. And here's the emotional payoff. When you trade with confluence, you feel calm. No panic, no second guessing, because you didn't take the trade on a whim. You built it brick by brick. And even if it loses, you know you followed a process built on logic, not emotion. That's how predators think. So remember this. A prey trader takes trades because they want to be in the market. A predator trader takes trades because the market leaves them no choice. The evidence is undeniable. The confluence is overwhelming. And when that happens, you don't just take a trade. You execute with the confidence of a hunter who knows the outcome before the shot is fired. What's the number one factor you look for in your trades right now? Support, retest, volume, or something else? Comment below. I want to know how you build your case.
Section 8. The 5 cardinal sins that keep you losing. We've built the Predator's Playbook: patience, retests, confluence, and volume. But here's the hard truth. None of it matters if you keep committing the same deadly mistakes. I call them the 5 cardinal sins of trading. And until you break free from these, you'll always remain the prey. Sin number 1. Chasing the move. This is the classic FOMO trap. Price explodes, and instead of waiting for the setup, you jump in late. Your brain screams, "I can't miss this." But predators know you've already missed it. Chasing is how prey runs straight into the jaws of the lion. Sin number 2. Over-leveraging. Maybe your analysis was right, but your size was wrong. You bet too big, too fast,
And when the inevitable drawdown comes, you're shaken out, not because your trade was invalid, but because your account couldn't handle the heat. This sin turns a manageable loss into a devastating blow. Sin number 3, revenge trading. You lose one trade, and instead of walking away, you double down. You're no longer trading the chart, you're trading your anger. This is the prey bleeding in the water, thrashing wildly, making themselves an even easier target. Predators never chase out of anger, they wait. Sin number 4, ignoring the plan. How many times have you set rules for yourself only to break them the moment emotions spike? You promised you'd wait for confirmation, but you jumped early. You swore you'd move your stop only if the setup changed, but you moved it out of fear. Every broken rule is a step deeper into the prey mindset. Sin number 5, needing to be in the market. This one is subtle but deadly. Prey believe they must always be trading. If they're not in a position, they feel like they're missing out. But predators know the waiting is part of the hunt. They don't need constant action. They need precision. Take a second. Which one of these sins hits closest to home? Be brutally honest with yourself, because awareness is the first step to change. Here's the truth. Every trader commits these sins at some point. I have. You have. Everyone has. But the difference between prey and predator is simple. Prey repeat the sins, predators learn from them. Imagine what happens when you stop chasing, when you size responsibly, when you let go of revenge, when you stick to your plan, when you embrace the waiting. Suddenly, the market feels calmer. Your account stops bleeding. Your decisions carry weight. This is the moment where you stop sabotaging yourself and start aligning with the predator's mindset. Because the biggest enemy in trading isn't the market makers. It isn't manipulation. It isn't even volatility. It's you. And once you master yourself, the battlefield becomes yours. Which of these 5 sins do you struggle with most? Be honest.
Section 9. The power of strategic waiting. If I could give you one superpower as a trader, it wouldn't be the ability to predict the future. It wouldn't even be perfect technical analysis. The greatest superpower you could ever have is this: the power to wait. Most traders don't wait. They can't. Their need for action is stronger than their need for profit. They see a candle move and they're in. They see the market stall and they panic out. They confuse activity with progress, but activity isn't progress, it's noise. The predator knows better. The predator understands that waiting is not weakness, it's strength. Think about the sniper again. He may sit for hours in silence, motionless, eyes locked on the target. Why? Because he knows the shot only matters once. One perfect opportunity is worth more than 100 rushed ones. Trading works the same way. Here's what strategic waiting does for you. First, it filters the noise. The market is a constant storm of candles, spikes, and false signals. If you chase every flicker, you'll bleed out. But when you wait, the noise fades, and the real setups reveal themselves. Second, it protects your capital. Every unnecessary trade is a drain on your account and your emotions. Strategic waiting means fewer trades, but higher quality ones. It's not about how often you trade, it's about how well you trade. Third, it builds conviction. When you wait for Confluence, price, psychology, volume, and manipulation all lining up, you no longer second-guess your decisions. You know why you're in. That conviction keeps you calm when the prey panic. And here's the most overlooked part. Waiting rewires your brain. When you stop needing to be in the market all the time, you stop thinking like prey. Prey are reactive. Predators are selective. Prey feel anxious when they're not in a trade. Predators feel powerful because they know the market will always give another chance. Let me give you an example. Imagine two traders. The first takes 10 trades in a day, chasing every breakout and bounce. They end exhausted, frustrated, and often broke. The second trader takes only one trade, but it's the right one. They waited, they stalked, they struck with precision. Who do you think survives longer on the battlefield? It's not even close. Here's the brutal truth. Most traders lose not because they don't know strategies, but because they don't know how to wait for them to align. They're so desperate for action that they sabotage their own edge. But the predator embraces the silence, the stillness, the pause before the storm, because they know that waiting is not wasted time. It's preparation. So the next time you feel the urge to click buy or sell just to feel active, stop yourself and ask, am I trading because the setup is undeniable, or am I trading because I'm bored, afraid, or greedy? If it's the second, close the chart. Step away. Because in this game, the hunter who waits wins.
Section 10. Full Trade Breakdown. We've talked about the battlefield. We've studied the armies. We've armed ourselves with patience, retests, volume, and confluence. Now let's put it all together. Let me walk you through a full trade, predator style, from start to finish. Picture this. The market is approaching a major resistance level. You've marked it in advance, not because it's a magical line, but because you know it's a scar. Traders were trapped here before. Emotions live here. That's your battlefield. Price begins to push into the level. The prey jumps in early, selling the very first touch. You wait. You're the sniper on the hill. You watch. On the first push, price pierces the level, triggering breakout buyers. That's the FOMO army. At the same time, trapped shorts from earlier start closing in panic. That's liquidity being engineered. You don't move. You're watching the playbook unfold. Then it happens. Price slams back down below the level. The so-called breakout was a trap. The prey are caught. The market makers have filled their orders, and the battlefield is shifting. You're still waiting because one clue isn't enough. Now comes the retest. Price climbs back to the same level, but this time it rejects hard. Wicks form. Volume spikes. That's confirmation. The false breakout just flipped into a powerful resistance. The armies have spoken. This is the moment you strike. You enter short, not on hope, but on overwhelming evidence. Confluence is stacked. 1. Battlefield identified. 2. Manipulation confirmed. 3. Retest respected. 4. Volume backing the rejection. You place your stop just above the scar, the only place that proves your idea wrong. That's precision. The trade begins to move in your favor. The prey are panicking. The trapped breakout buyers are closing, fueling the downside. The profit takers are locking in, adding more weight. The FOMO crowd is now chasing short, late to the party. Every army is giving you exactly what you anticipated. And here's the difference. You're not nervous. You're not glued to the screen praying. You're calm because you didn't gamble into this trade. You built a case, brick by brick. You waited until the market left you no choice but to act. The move runs. You scale out with confidence, not because you got lucky, but because you executed like a predator. You read the emotions. You saw the manipulation. You waited for the confluence. You followed the footsteps of the giants. And when the trade closes in profit, you don't feel euphoric. You feel validated. Because this wasn't chance. It was process. That's the predator's edge, not catching every move, not being first, but executing the right trades with discipline, conviction, and clarity. One trade, one kill. That's the way of the sniper. That's the way of the predator.
Section 11. From Gambler to Strategist.
Up until now, we've talked about setups, psychology, and the predator's playbook. But here's the truth. None of it matters if you're still approaching trading with the mindset of a gambler, because gamblers don't last. Strategists do. So let me ask you, how do you trade right now? Like a gambler or like a strategist? The gambler is addicted to action. They wake up, open the charts, and feel restless until they're in a trade. They measure success by how many trades they take, not by the quality of those trades. And deep down, they don't want clarity. They want excitement. They're chasing the rush. But the strategist wakes up with a plan. They don't need to be in the market every minute. They understand that patience is profit. They don't care about action. They care about execution. And when they enter, it's not out of boredom or hope. It's because the evidence was undeniable. Here's the difference. The gambler sees a chart and asks, "What can I trade right now?" The strategist sees the same chart and asks, "What is the market telling me, and what's the smartest response?" The gambler throws darts in the dark, hoping one sticks. The strategist builds a case brick by brick until the trade becomes obvious. And this shift from gambler to strategist is the transformation that separates prey from predator. Let me give you an example. The gambler sees a breakout and jumps in blindly. If it works, they feel euphoric. If it fails, they spiral into revenge trading. Their emotions are on a roller coaster, rising and crashing with every candle. But the strategist wakes up with a plan. They don't need to be in the market every minute. They understand that patience is profit. They don't care about action. They care about execution. And when they enter, it's not out of boredom or hope. It's because the evidence was undeniable. That's why gamblers burn out, but strategists survive. And here's the most powerful part. When you stop being a gambler, trading stops feeling chaotic. You stop chasing highs and lows. You stop waking up anxious. Instead, you start seeing patterns where others see noise. You feel calm where others feel panic. You become the predator in the field of prey. So ask yourself right now, are you in this for the rush or are you in this to win? Because if it's the rush, you'll bleed out. But if it's to win, then it's time to leave the gambler behind and step into the strategist's shoes. Because the battlefield doesn't reward gamblers, it rewards hunters. It rewards patience. It rewards strategy. And if you want to last in this game, your choice is simple. Stop being a gambler and start living as a strategist. Be real with me. Are you trading more like a gambler or a strategist right now? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you're committed to the shift, type strategist mindset below.
Section 12. The new SNR mindset. From the very beginning of your trading journey, you were probably taught that support and resistance are just lines on a chart. Neat, clean levels where price bounces or rejects. Draw the line, trade the line. That's the formula. But now you know better. Support and resistance are not lines. They are people. Every level you draw isn't just a number. It's the emotional memory of thousands of traders. It's the trapped buyer who swore they'd get out at break even. It's the profit taker waiting to lock in green. It's the FOMO chaser eager to jump in late. When price returns to those levels, it's not magic. It's psychology. Those emotions come flooding back and they play out in real time on your chart. This is the new SNR mindset. You're not trading price, you're trading people. And here's the game changer. People are predictable. Fear repeats itself. Greed repeats itself. Hope repeats itself over and over again. Once you understand that, support and resistance stop being arbitrary lines and start being battlefields you can actually read. So instead of asking, will this line hold, you begin asking, which army controls this level? Who's trapped here? Who's about to panic? Who's about to pile in? That's the predator's perspective. This mindset does two things for you. First, it gives you clarity. No more confusion when price randomly breaks your line. It wasn't random, it was emotion. And emotions leave patterns. Second, it gives you confidence. When you stop trading lines and start trading people, you stop feeling outsmarted. You stop feeling like the market is against you. Instead, you start anticipating moves before they happen because you know the players involved. Think of it like poker. The beginner watches the cards, the pro watches the players. Trading is no different. Prey stare at price. Predators study the people behind it. This is the new way forward. This is the S&R mindset that flips the script. So the next time you draw a line, don't see numbers, see narratives. Don't see candles, see crowds. Because when you trade people, not price, you finally graduate from being prey to becoming predator. And that's when everything changes.
Take a breath and think about the journey you've just been on. When you clicked on this video, maybe you were frustrated. Maybe you felt like the market was always against you, slapping you with fake outs, stop hunts, and losses that didn't make sense. You wondered if you were doing something wrong, if maybe this game just wasn't for you. But now you see the truth. It was never about you being bad at trading. It was about being taught the wrong game. You've learned that support and resistance are not lines, they're scars. You've seen the three armies, the trapped, the profit takers, and the FOMO crowd. You've stepped into the predator's mindset, waiting like a sniper instead of spraying like a machine gunner. You've mastered the art of the retest, exposed the manipulation playbook, and discovered that volume is the market's only truth teller. You've learned how to stack signals with Confluence, how to avoid the 5 cardinal sins, and how to weaponize patience. You've walked through a full predator-style trade, step by step, and you've shifted from gambler to strategist, from trading price to trading people. This wasn't just another trading strategy video. This was a psychological masterclass, a transformation. Because the real goal of trading isn't just to make money, it's to see differently, to stop reacting and start anticipating, to stop being prey and become the predator. And here's the best part. This transformation doesn't end when the video does. Every chart you look at from this moment forward will look different. Every breakout, every rejection, every stop hunt. You'll see the battlefield behind it. You'll recognize the armies fighting. You'll know the tricks being played, and you'll know how to respond with clarity and precision. So let me ask you, which army did you find yourself in most often? Were you the trapped, the profit takers, the FOMO crowd? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear your story. And let me know, which chapter rewired your brain? Was it the sniper's patience, the manipulation playbook, the 5 cardinal sins? Tell me below. If this masterclass shifted your perspective, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more traders can see it. Subscribe Mindlock Trading Psychology if you want more deep dives into the psychology of trading. And share this video with one trader you know who's still stuck in the old way of thinking. You might just save them from years of pain. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the hunted. You are the predator. This is your transformation. This is your new identity. You've learned the art of the stop hunt, and now you finally know how to trade like a predator, not prey.